International Women's Day is coming up on the 8th of March. What can your organisation do to make it real for you? I remember as a teenager growing up, sitting in my mum's kitchen, listening to her tell stories about what it was like for her growing up in Perth as a first-generation Australian Italian, and how she was harassed and bullied and called names because she was the wog kid who ate strange food. Later on, my mum became a teacher, and when she married my dad, she was very politely informed by the education department that Mrs. Sala-Tenner needed to resign because now she had a husband who would be providing for her. It didn't matter that she actually loved teaching and that she earned more money than my dad, who was a struggling orchardist. Times have definitely changed from them, and I am so thankful that the things that my mum had to deal with are not my reality, and I don't have to worry about that, thanks to legislation like the Equal Opportunity Act in Western Australia and in all the states and territories throughout Australia. But we know things still aren't fair, they're still not equitable between men and women. So we know that there's a pay gap between what women and men get paid for the same job. And it's really obvious that women are still underrepresented in positions of leadership, particularly on boards. We also know that women are likely to be much more the victim of sexual abuse and sexual violence, and in the workplace to experience sexual harassment. So there's still things that we can do to make a difference. So on this International Women's Day, I encourage your organisation to do some really practical things. Take the time to have a look at your policies and procedures in relation to harassment, discrimination and bullying, and check in to see whether or not they're clear and comprehensive and cover off everything that needs to be said. You also want to make sure that you've got a good complaint process so that when someone does want to make a complaint about something that's happened to them, they know that they're going to be treated fairly and the process is going to be a safe process for them. You also want to think about some other things. So how many women do you have in leadership positions in your organisation? And how could you increase that number? What about flexible work arrangements? Do you have that available for the parents in your organisation? And if you're bigger than 100 people, are you meeting your obligations under the Workplace Gender Equality Act, which came into being just the end of last year? Finally, take the time to celebrate the women that work in your organisation and all that they bring to your workplace. Have a great International Women's Day.